cut me too deep. I think I'm dying here, man.
Welcome to the 3B Video Deep Cut Podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes. It was fun.
Aw, yeah, it's that time again for another bi-weekly podcast with your hosts, Rotten Roger DeMarco and
Evil Dead Inks, and who sent you? Those sissies over at Del Mar Catering? That chicken shit burrito man?
every once in a while I turn into a teenage goo-goo mug. It is time. 2 more weeks have gone down. And so now we're at, arguably, how do you want to say this? The fan favorite of this franchise?
Somehow, yes. This, through, I don't know what means, has become the go-to version of this series that everyone just loves. And I gotta give it the Biodome effect of like, this was fantastic to see at a young age. Like as a little kid, like this is the best Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And now I don't know if it's old age. All the innocence and joy has been sucked out of us for 30 plus years after the fact, and we're just bitter a little bit more, and we're like, this is definitely not my favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. And it does not help that they cut out Joe Bob Briggs's one scene he had in it.
True. And so here's the weird thing about this movie is if you were to step back and just look at it on paper, if you look at this movie on paper, it's everything that you and I love. Absolutely. Like it's got the cool colors. It's got a cool atmosphere, got a cool lair. It's got a banging soundtrack. It's a fun, by all accounts, it should be one of those popcorn movies that you and I are like, that's in constant, background
silly.
Heavy rotation.
It's silly.
Yeah, but for some reason,
the silliness doesn't hit.
Yeah, it doesn't work for Leatherface. It just doesn't. Maybe it's because we're so high on the horse with 3 and 1, but do you remember the first time you saw this movie?
I don't have a fucking clue the first time I saw this movie. I don't know how it came about, but I know I did see it much, much younger and thought, oh man, the huge lair, all the lights and shit, all that stuff. It was fantastic. There's a chainsaw duel. This is fantastic. Everything looks so cool and slick and very Tom Savini. Mm-hmm. It was fine. And yeah, it was a long time in between when I was introduced to this one and when I got back to it. I really don't think, honestly, I got really, really back into it until I'll throw it down until we went to Joe Bob hosting this movie at the theater we went to go see. I had been aware of it. I think I even had the DVD, the bare bones DVD I still have of it, but I never
on the cover, yeah.
Yeah, but I never was like, let's throw this in and watch it. I was aware of it, but it's like the Child's Play series. I have it, but I don't throw hardly any of them things ever on since I bought them.
Right. I can remember the first time I saw this movie, and I'll hit that story real quick.
Please do tell, because I'm intrigued.
And then we will get to the brief plot synopsis, because we just bypassed that, essentially. But
I'll give you the brief plot synopsis real quick. You want Texas Chainsaw Massacre made by Canon? Here it is.
That's pretty fucking perfect, dude. So
the Canon Films version of TCM. Boom.
I'm 14, and so I'd seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1 and 3, obviously. I'd seen 3 and dubbed 3 and had 3 on a tape with Prom Night and everything, and I was obsessed with that. But I had never... 2, for some reason, was elusive. My grocery store never had it. It
was elusive.
Yeah, the video stores that I frequented, the little mom and pop ones, never had it. And we were in the big city, as folks from where I'm at like to say. We were in Omaha, Nebraska. I was going up for a day to record some songs at a recording studio when I was a wee young teenager, and we were killing some time. So there was a Blockbuster right on the corner by where this fella's studio was. So we went in there, and they had Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, we got to rent this. We have got to rent this. I was like, I'll take it to Sam's house, and while I'm in my studio session, he can dub it for me. And my mom's like, whatever. So she like got a Blockbuster account, like, went through all the crap, and then we rented the movie, took it to Sam's. While I was recording my music, he dubbed it onto a tape for me. I get home at like 10:30 at night and throw it on, and I was so fucking jazzed and excited. And I fell asleep because I had to go to school the next day.
So excited.
Yeah, and then I watched it the following day after school, and I just remember like the feeling of like, wow, like I was so jazzed up because I was really in my Tom Savini era. So I was fucking super hyped on this movie, and it kind of like took the lead for a hot minute of being my favorite, and then I think the same thing with you, like didn't visit it for a while, got older, and then when you revisit it when you're a little bit older, you're like, it's Poltergeist 3. It's Poltergeist 3 syndrome. Like, I don't remember all this just like screaming. Yeah. Why is this hurting my ears to watch?
I don't know. It does start out oddly kind of promising still, even like I like the yuppies in the car really taking advantage of the car phone, which was the highest end of technology of the time.
Yeah, so they had money.
Yeah, and the use of nubbins as a front on Leatherface in the back of a pickup truck, I think, still looks really cool. Mm-hmm. And Drayton, I think everything he says and does is pretty good. A bit more slapstick, intentional slapstick than unintentional slapstick. Like, I don't think he's trying to be funny when he's, badgering about what your brother did to the door.
Right.
But when he
comes across funny.
Yeah, when he's like, what's that, some new health food bunch? Like, now he's going to try to be funny. He's not being that ironic funny. And I think I saw somewhere that Tom Savini's, one of his proudest works is Grandpa, how Grandpa looks in this movie. Mm-hmm. For me, I don't give a shit. I don't care. Everything Tom Savini does is lesser than the original. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Grandpa looks way creepier in the original than he does here. Leatherface's mask looks like a real top-notch Trick or Treat Studios level design.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like some dude in Texas made this shit out of somebody's real skin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's a difference. It's one of those times where it's like the cheaper the budget they had, the more real it felt. This is very much a canon film. Yeah.
It's a canon film. It does have a little bit of that hokey Trick or Treat Studios and this is where I always shoot myself in the foot. And I'm gonna say it, okay?
Just say it. I did it.
Tom Savini, a little overrated, man. And as much as and this is coming from a kid who wanted to be Tom Savini. He was the name. He's the guy. Until you start paying attention to other people like Screamin' Mad George or the guys from K&B or even just indie effects artists. But there's so much emphasis put on how great Tom Savini is, and I think Tom Savini shines when he has to do a magic trick, when he has to do some form of gore gag or whatever. He can do that. He can do violence very well. But as far as like being a sculptor and an actual artist, I don't think he's that great. And that's not a nice opinion, like not a popular opinion to have in the horror community.
Nah, fuck him. We have our own opinion. You don't like it? Guess what? You can just look at us like crazy people yelling on the street and just keep on walking by.
That's true.
Maybe this movie would be better if it just wasn't a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. Like, I feel it's got some Halloween 3 syndrome. Like, if you just rename this something else and just tweak a few, super minor things, I think this would be fine. I think it would be right up there in the wheelhouse for us. But for whatever reason, I think being a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie and being, a complete 180 from what was done 10 or 12 years previously, And I think it was just done because somebody was hounding Tobe Hooper to do a sequel. And
Right.
we're not sure if this was like what he really wanted to do or if he's had that Gremlins 2 kind of thing. Like, fine, I'll make a fucking sequel, but you're going to get this as the fucking sequel.
Yeah, you're going to get what I want to give you. Something fucking way out of left field. I always kind of refer to this movie, like, it's hard to explain. Like, this movie feels like what you would get, like, if you took a fucking bag of cocaine and, like, put it into a film camera. This movie, like...
Acid.
It's so fucking out there, dude. And...
Speaking of cocaine, Dennis Hopper is your star.
Lord, show me what I fear, so I don't fear it no more.
Yeah, we
Best
don't
line in
have
the whole
any...
movie.
We have... I don't know. I kind of like the Lord of the Harvest.
Oh, yeah. Bring it all down!
I mean, everything he kind of says is like, that sounds like he's coming off a cocaine high. But there's your other thing there is like, this is the first movie you didn't know anybody. So there's another element of like realism to it. Is like, you don't recognize somebody from something else. Here, like, oh, that's clearly Dennis Hopper. We know
That's
him
King
from
Koopa.
Yeah, we know him from Easy Rider, I guess, at the time. Which I think this and Super Mario were his two least favorite movies he ever made.
Yeah, well, and definitely being that we saw, or at least I saw it later in my life, my teenage years.
It was definitely like, I didn't like the first time I seen it, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know Dennis Hopper, but upon rewatch, I'm like, hey, that's the dude from Speed.
Like, well, even Carolyn Williams stretched, like, she was the lady from Leprechaun 3 to me. So, because I was, I love Leprechaun 1, 2, and 3. So, even in Stepfather 2? Yeah, she's in Stepfather 2.
Yes.
So, like, she was even recognizable to me. And I don't know, like you're saying, maybe that does take you out a little bit when you know a little bit of a resume of some of these people. Whereas the first
that's
Texas
a Hollywood person. Like,
yeah, that's a movie person. Where Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw Massacre feels like a documentary or something. Like, it feels
it's grimy, it's dirty. You don't know anybody. Like, you're just learning who all these people are here. Like, everything's much more slick. Clearly, things are way out of the realm of possibilities. Where we have a giant Texas amusement park that's been shut down.
Yeah.
But they have a whole Batman level underground tunnel system, which, oh my god, a new thing, a new wrinkle that just set me off rewatching it is like, why, how the fuck do they have all this goddamn power in this place? There are
those generators, man.
There are Christmas lights everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's this shit that's like steaming, and like there seems to be a level of dust constantly in the air. And I know it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and they're eating fucking people, but I'm like, all this shit and dust is getting on the food, man.
It's one of them hard shell peppercorns. Yeah, no, the whole we live underground in the cave thing is very different.
3/4 of us live underground, which has a trap fucking door, because of course it does.
Right,
into a slide, some straight up Addams Family shit there.
Yeah, it's like a playset. Like, it was destined to become a playset for a toy line. Yeah,
give us Playmates presents TCM2, the abandoned amusement park.
Like, oh, don't step on the trapdoor. You'll go down the slide. And who's down at the bottom of the slide? It's Bubba. Like, like some fucking stupid toy line commercial.
Which, that's another side wrinkle is, as of this recording, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre video game has had its beta run. So now all the videos are coming out from various people, Slash and Cast. I still think they played for like 48 hours straight. Like, I don't think Riley slept for at least a couple of days. He looked rougher than Dennis Hopper did in that hotel room probably by the end of that weekend.
You're gonna play that tape on the radio, Missy.
But I noticed I watched a couple of clips of other people playing it, and they kept calling Leatherface Bubba, and I was like, when the fuck did they start calling him Bubba? I don't remember this Bubba shit. And then rewind, I'm like, oh fuck, they call him Bubba in part 2. God damn it.
Yeah. definitely not my favorite.
Which is weird that
iteration.
they level on that. They don't. I was like, well, then if you're doing that, you can't call the hitchhiker. You gotta call him Nubbins.
Yep. Yeah. You gotta play by the rules.
Yeah.
Even though this franchise definitely does not play by the rules. This franchise it's hard to call it a franchise, right? Because it seems like every single movie is almost like its own thing, its own remake or whatever.
Until I think you get to like the Marvel movies today. Sequels were a Wild West thing, man. Like, as long as you got a title and occasionally a number, you can call it a sequel to any goddamn thing. Evil Dead rewrote their history, as we said in the previous franchise series. They rewrote the previous movie in the beginning of the next one every single time they did a new one.
That's true. Yeah. So I guess you can do that. And with TCM2, it is its own universe, except for the fact that we see Lefty, Dennis Hopper, find his brother's corpse in a wheelchair.
It's his nephew.
Oh, nephew,
isn't it?
yeah, nephew.
Yeah, his brother's kids.
Yeah.
Which he has a vendetta to figure out and solve. I guess he was super close with Franklin.
Yeah. Which is
still in a wheelchair in this. we get a skeleton still sitting in a wheelchair.
And doesn't make any goddamn sense. Like, they would move that body to a different part of Texas.
Why is that body so special? Caroline Williams falls into a variable pool of bones and dust. Mm-hmm. So they've murdered and eaten hundreds of people, theoretically. Why the fuck is Franklin's body so special to keep it isolated from the rest and still in the goddamn wheelchair?
Just so you can go, aha, remember?
There's so much meat there to eat, too. And they're like, nah, let's save him. Let's leave him bones and all here in this chair. We've never killed one of these guys in a chair. He might have mechanical parts in him or something.
Technology is your friend. Speaking of, like, all the meat, boy, there is that one spot when the wall gets busted open and it just fucking pours out entrails and blood and stuff forever.
Again, this can't be good for the food they eat while they're down there. To know that there's literally like it looks like the shit from The Descent, like just shit, piss, excrement, body part fluids, bile, and all that stuff. Yeah, it's just a whole pool that's just in another room next to you.
Yeah, it's nasty, and then
perpetually leaking.
Yeah, and then they eat dinner on that big long picnic table or whatever.
Just like a fucking tree they shaved down or something. But yeah, this is a Halloween 3 kind of movie in the series because everybody dies too. Mm-hmm. There's not a single family member that survives this movie. The only person to survive is Stretch. And we don't know what the hell happens to her. I guess if you go by our made-up would-be rules, is she actually becomes a news reporter we see in a hot shot cameo in the next movie.
Yeah, the beginning of 3, like very, very briefly.
Yeah, she regains her sanity, which she clearly apparently loses at the end of this movie.
So there's a lot of things. Okay, I don't want to miss
There is
them.
a lot of things.
Fucking number one for me is
we're enthused about this movie, folks.
Yeah, and I get why people like it because it's fun. Okay, like, and I'm not gonna discount the people who like it because it's fun. But even when I was younger, like when I sat down and watched this movie, there are some things. Like, number one for me is Leatherface, kind of like humping his chainsaw, and this weird, like,
he looks like a goof.
Yeah, it's this weird, like, sexual thing going on with him. He's
horny.
He's
horny in this movie.
So, like, we go from, in the first movie, he wears the pretty woman face.
Yeah, he's trying to be like the mom and potentially the slaughterer. Like, he's playing multiple family roles in that movie.
Yeah, but also it comes across scary in the first movie. It doesn't come across like a
doofus.
Even like Norman Bates-esque, you know what I mean? It doesn't come across like I'm a cross-dresser. It comes across like, I don't know, just more creepy than just at face value, like, oh, I dress like a woman. Like, and then in part 2, he's kind kind of wanting to, it's almost like he's a teenager and he's got to like hump something, and
he's a fucking goober.
Yeah.
The mask just looks like a mask. Like he could have made that look like he could have made that shit out of a couch, like a real nice leather couch. Just see "Lazy Boy" written across, like underneath the chin or something.
You beat me. Yeah, I was gonna say basketball, the Lazy Boy ball.
Yeah, you got the Lazy Boy brown leather furniture that he just look what your brother did to the couch.
The Barca lounger.
Yeah, he's got a fucking goober face. He makes goober noises.
And drooling and shit.
And he just wears the suit. He's not trying to play other kind of family roles. Like there's no. It's oddly enough to say there's a sense of odd realism that I can understand in the first one. Like, yeah, he's trying to fulfill these other roles because it's just literally these 3-4 guys.
You're like a psychopath. He's a psychopath in the first movie. He has mental problems. In this movie, he's just like derpy, and
yeah,
and he is not scary. That's the problem with Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
No,
across the board is none of them are scary.
His scariness stops after that opener with the yuppies. Like scary there, just because you're like, what the hell are you looking at?
Yeah,
and even when he like emerges behind Nubbins, he looks okay then. And then the novelty wears off for me.
Yeah, when he first shows up at the radio station, when get the jump scare when he's in the record vault.
Yeah,
and comes out.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's just a jump scare though. That could have been shit. If that was Drayton that flew out there, that would have had the same effect. Yeah, and fuck this Bill Johnson guy for giving us the goddamn dance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he turned it into a dance. The first one, I'm like, how I always interpreted it, and apparently how Toby Hooper, interpreted it, he's having a shit fit. Like, God fucking damn it.
They got away.
Blah, blah. Yeah. And this one, it's the fucking Leatherface shimmy.
Yeah, it's bullshit. And again,
and it will be parodied, and like that is right there with everything Chop Top, which, fine character. Bill Moseley always does something unique, but
yeah.
Man, a little bit of Chop Top goes so far.
Yeah, that's where I was literally leading the conversation and he's a fan favorite. Again, everybody loves Bill Moseley. I like Bill Moseley. I have nothing against Bill Moseley.
Right. I've got I've just fucking figured it out. This movie, Chop Top, all the things that were like, is the equivalent of a very super popular hit song. It's the Who Let the Dogs Out of the Texas Chainsaw series. It came out. It was big. We loved it. We got super tired of hearing it all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
And there's still a little bit of nostalgia when we hear it again. But we're immediately followed by, then it just never fucking left.
So for me, especially like now the older that I am, what I equate Chop Top to is I'm a dad, okay? And so I'm an older guy. I equate Chop Top kind of like a really hyperactive 4 or 5-year-old. So at first you're like, oh man, that's awesome. Like you're funny. Look at that kid. That kid's a little wild. And then after a while you're like, the grown-ups are talking. Would you just shut the fuck up. Like he's in the background clapping, jumping, I'm laying. And people they eat that up, and I'm like,
but I'm like
getting a migraine.
I'm like, give me this like one more incoming mail and I'm gonna fucking snap. Like just Caroline Williams, could you just scream to cover it up?
Yeah, so between Leatherface being like wicked derpy, Chop Top never shutting up, and Carolyn Williams never stopping screaming,
and
this to me is
LG never fucking dying.
This is just an exercise in endurance for me when I watch this movie, where I'm like, I can make it. I'm
gonna watch Texas Chainsaw 2 later, maybe.
Yeah, like, again, when, like you said, we went and saw this in theaters and Joe Bob hosted it, no doubt the best experience of that was meeting Joe Bob prior, then him talking for 40 minutes before starting the movie, and then him talking for 40 minutes after the movie.
Yeah,
like
that was like, man, I can't wait for this movie to end so he can come just back out and talk some more instead. And that was and we thought that was the lesser of the two, because it was between that and Night of the Comet were the two movies he was hosting on different nights. Like, which one do you want to do? I was like, I guess it would be more fitting to do Texas Chainsaw because he's a Texas guy. Maybe
and he was in it, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, and I'm not really like super like well versed in Night of the Comet. I think I've watched it a whole 2 times. One of the times
was commentary.
One was that commentary we did for it.
I'm not a great big fan of that movie. I always think I am, and then I watch it and I go, oh yeah, it's not as good as I remember. Which is crazy because I bought that Scream Factory Blu-ray special edition, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna stay on the shelf for a hot minute. But
I went the smarter. I was like, I'm just gonna get the $3 used DVD of it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Yeah. That's all I need.
That old MGM DVD, yeah.
Yeah. But what the fuck up with this station manager just getting his head bashed in with a hammer and still living, and then getting his face like just removed?
Yeah.
Looking like
face.
Yeah, looking like Frank from the neck up from Hellraiser, and still he's not dead. This guy is the hardest guy to kill in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise.
Absolutely.
He's harder to kill than Ken Foray in the next movie.
Hey, it's me, Benny.
He just grazed me.
Yeah. Which we'll get to that in 2 weeks. But, dude, yeah, LG takes a what do they say? Takes a licking and keeps on ticking. But
he takes a shellacking.
But the thing, too, this always bothered me. And now that I'm older,
it bothers you more.
More annoying is, so he's unconscious or whatever in their lair, and Leatherface comes in and cuts his face off or whatever, which is fine because he makes face masks, so you're like, okay. But then he like cuts a strip off of like his bicep, on each bicep, like cuts a chunk of skin off the stomach, and then cuts like some strips off the legs or whatever, and I'm like, what is the purpose of those cuts? Those cuts have never made any sense to me, because I'm like, if you're gonna cut this dude up and eat him, like, you're not just gonna take like a couple layers of skin. You're gonna cut a leg off or whatever. Like, you're gonna make food. So I just those superficial like skinnings, just unless he's using those for like patches.
Yeah, that's
when
like
he's gonna make the mask.
He's gonna tie it in a knot with those chunks in the back.
Yeah, I just don't get it, and it's always bothered me. I'm like, why? What's the point of that? And they're in such weird places that they just bother me.
I don't know. Like, it's not designed to look like he's doing this out of survival, or how he, like it's a deer hunter type thing. He's just
spiteful.
Yeah, he's just doing it because the script says to do it. Like, I find no motivation in like, what? So why are you doing this?
Yeah. Which is the difference, right, with the first movie, because it's like it doesn't spell anything out for you in the first movie. Like you said, it's almost completely implied that they eat people, because they have like chickens, they have all these, like, they clearly have meat.
They give you the impression that they don't leave anything to waste. Like, they'll eat the meat and they're gonna make furniture and weapons and shit out of the bones.
Yeah. And in the second movie, they're not wealthy, obviously, because they live in a fucking cave or whatever. But like,
that's a whole different series. A wealthy Texas Chainsaw family,
right? But like, he has a traveling food truck. He's an award-winning chef.
What does that do? Is that how he brings money in? Like, aside from people that they're robbing and killing, like, is they just winning money off competition? How much money is he winning off chili competitions in Texas? Well,
I mean, but even if he's the rolling chef, right? So he has a food truck, so he makes money.
They've sunk money. Yeah, he has a legitimate business.
Yeah, and so the whole deal is, they kill people so he can put it in the chili, but it feels like just plot, just for plot, because in the first movie, like you said, it seems like they're like a family that doesn't leave anything to waste. And in this movie,
they're survivalists.
Yeah. In this movie, they're just killing and putting people in the chili. Why? Because, like, if he has a legitimate business, he can go buy hamburger. Like, you know what I mean? It's weird. It's a weird thing, and the older you get and the more you watch the movie, the more you just scratch your head at a lot of this shit going on.
Yeah. And then another thing that I fucking hate that I already semi-mentioned, all the fucking lights. There's also a shit ton of pre-lit candles everywhere.
Your favorite.
Who the fuck's lighting all these goddamn candles? And why are they still lit? Why are they still lit?
So, and also, structurally, my problem with this movie is, like, we get the opener, which is cool, kind of sets everything into motion, and then we get the introduction of Lefty Enright, which is an awesome name. But then
I was really hoping he would have someone would explain that, like why they call you Lefty, and give me some kind of weird ass like bar fight explanation or something.
Right.
Like his left testicle was removed in a bar fight. I don't know.
You should see the other guy. But we go from introducing Lefty to Lefty and Stretch having a conversation to let me play this recording
tape.
on the radio.
Snuff audio.
To abduction to ending. Like it I don't know. I feel like there should be more in between, even though this movie to me feels, like I said, it's a test of endurance. It feels long as fuck. But I just feel like we're missing something from, I played this tape on the radio, to now I'm tied up at the dinner table. And Lefty has to come save the day, or whatever.
He's not really coming to save the day. I think it's kind of happenstance that she's even there at all, because we see him go to, and I've never seen anything like this in my life. I may have just not looking in the right places, but a chainsaw-centric store that has so many saws they're hanging them from monofilament line from the ceiling. Like they just have.
That's got to be a hazard.
Yeah, like what's this place called? Chainsaws. And we get this. I mean, that's the only scene in the movie that feels in line with like the unintentional comedy in the first one. Is Dennis Hopper goes and he's trying to find, I guess, the right chainsaws he wants to use for revenge, and he's holding a few different ones up like he's a gunslinger with them.
Yeah.
And he's like wielding them in like it would shit. You would totally be like, this guy needs to get the fuck out of my store right now.
Yeah, I'm afraid for my life.
And of course, they have a giant ass tree in the front of the property where you can go test these saws out. And I don't know what the fuck.
Man.
I don't know what the fuck his chainsaw swings are about. Like, he doesn't try to cut any of these things. He's swinging at it like it's a fucking axe. Mm-hmm. It's not how you wield a chainsaw at all. Like, if anything, it might stall out the times you're whacking it. He's like slamming it against this tree log, trying to cut chunks of it. Which, I don't know why he's just obsessed with, he knows that family used a chainsaw, so he's got to use a chainsaw. He's got perfectly good shotguns and pistols. Those work just fine. Just blow somebody's legs off. I don't know why you're obsessed with using these chainsaws, which give you no stealth, which he's not concerned about that shit at all anyway. He just runs screaming into their base.
I love it. Ah!
Which we cut back to way too many times of him just screaming and cutting pillars down, and nobody ever hears him. That's even the stranger part, is he's making all the goddamn noise.
Nobody
hears them. And as soon as they do start seeing shit fall, they're like, that's probably Leatherface. That's Bubba the fucking up with his chainsaw shit again. Because we know he's super strong. He can run through walls, apparently.
Yeah, and fucking he's up there just chainsawing through fucking railroad ties.
It feels like So I Married an Axe Murderer. Like, you don't hear somebody like axe chopping the roof and Mike Myers screaming in this underground cavernous lair.
Yeah, no, it's well, maybe it's because it's so big, right? But I mean, even that wouldn't make sense, because if it's so big, it would echo.
No, and if it is that big, why? Again, how are they supplying all this power? Are they wired into the city's electrical grid? Is that why they only can pay for a traveling food truck? Is they have this outstanding electric bill every month?
You got Bucky like checking the meters, and he's like, "There's a huge drain over there by that field."
This wire,
like extension cords coming all the way from Dallas.
Yeah. We got this buried extension cord by Last Chance Gas that runs 48 miles to this abandoned amusement park.
Yeah, it's got a bunch of fucking like cattails like splintered off.
It all comes to one fucking plug-in. It looks like the shit from Christmas Vacation where there's like 78 things all strung
Sparks.
off one. Yeah. Duct tape wrapped around it. Like, it's just got a constant little layer of smoke and spark coming off of
And
it.
just plug that in there, Russ.
Chopped up. I was like, I got another string Christmas lights.
God damn it. Yeah, it's so silly. Again, here we like. And if you love this movie and you're listening to us, you're probably like screaming at your radio or your phone
or
whatever.
not. I occasionally there's a few podcasts I listen to where I'm like, I know they're gonna hate this, and I want to hear what they say, even though it's a movie I kind of dig. Like, I've heard people rip on the whole Elm Street series, and I just like, I gotta hear what they gotta say too.
Right.
Bring it on! I love hearing the difference of opinions. Give me your 2 cents on this. I gotta hear it.
It's just weird. Like, we talk about it all the time on our live stream and in our real life. We talk about like, kind of going through these just stages in your life where something that you watched that you hated when you were younger, if you revisit it, like, you might absolutely love it because now you're coming from a different place in your life and you can understand things. But the same goes both ways. Like, you can have nostalgia glasses for something and because you grew up with it, and take a good break from it and then come back to it and be like, man, that is not as awesome as I remember. And this is that movie for me, absolutely, where it just has all the criteria of everything that I should love and just makes me want to break my teeth. Like, it makes me grit my teeth so bad I feel like they're going to break like glass. Like, I just have, yeah.
How about just roll your eyes so far back you feel like you can give yourself a headache?
Yeah, like a slot machine.
It's the other rule I've made up, is I had the Baby Driver rule of if something really does have legs if you want to watch it twice within a 7-day period. And the other one is my Biodome effect. Is Biodome was on daily, weekly, all the time. I really wanted to be Stephen Baldwin's side character in that movie so much. And then rewatching it in my 30s, and I'm like, I would smother these 2 fucking guys in their sleep in the Biodome and bury them in the desert. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is right in there with the Biodome rule.
We have chili, we have lots of things to eat.
Like everything they do has to be like a show.
Yeah.
We opened a bag of chips, like, time to put on a little show for nobody.
Yeah, in this closet, yeah.
Yeah, just to amuse each other.
Yep, fucking idiots. And that's the family in this movie. They're a bunch of fucking idiots.
That's this entire movie. And I used to, like, this is I remember thinking when I first, like, this is going to be the best one of these. This is so cool. There's a giant cavern. Caverns were just fucking cool. Mm-hmm. And now, it's just, I don't even think I could convince the wife to throw this on about any old time. It's just like, really? You want to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2?
It's the same thing with my wife. She's just like, God damn it. It's just so far removed from our, our go-to movies. But, I mean, I get it. Again, I'm a broken record. I get it. I get why people like it. It's fucking bananas, bonkers, wild, nonsensical. It's a literal Looney Tunes fucking cartoon.
It's a unicorn, unitard, unicycle Looney Tune.
Yeah, it's fucking Wile E. Coyote with a skin mask. It's fucking stupid. It's the only thing missing is them like painting a black circle on the wall and being able to step through it. Like, it's just fucking ridiculous.
And other things I don't give a shit about, I'm gonna just throw out there anyway because I don't care. We met Bill Johnson, the guy that plays Leatherface, a number of years back at a convention. Totally hit on my wife when I wasn't around, so now I definitely don't mind when he gets a chainsaw shoved into his big old hefty ass gut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Aside from that, like, he was very nice to my son and stuff, but that was kind of skeevy.
He was okay.
Yeah,
he was okay.
Skeevy behavior.
I brought up to him, and I was like, so I had heard and had seen many things about like this, that Dennis was just fucking on some real heavy duty shit making this movie. He's like, no, he wasn't. He went on anything. I'm like, I don't know if I believe you.
Yeah, because I bet you were also.
I wanted to be like Don Rickles in Dirty Work, like looking like a bucket of lard on a bad day.
fucking Don Rickles reference.
So-
Deep cut right there.
So there's one other actor that I'm sure at some point we'll get to the franchise that he's involved in that also was trying to hook up with the wife that I don't mind to see him die on cinema either.
Yeah.
From now on.
No shit. Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I didn't get to.
There's so much and so little at the exact same time.
Yeah. That like sticks out to me. That really, really bothers me or anything.
I can't think of nothing, but I definitely would be hard pressed when this is done and dust has settled in the cavernous pit. Is they're going to do a sequel to this? I'd be like, where the fuck do you go?
It was supposed to be
how do you
Chop
do
Top,
it?
right? Like,
Was it?
yeah, I think Chop
'cause-
Top is supposed to have survived, and
nobody ever wants that. Like, nobody wants the rest of the family, more or less. Like, if they just want Leatherface, but Leatherface has always had a problem being a standalone slasher. Like, he's the only guy I feel needs a support system. Like, he needs a pillar or two behind him to get things going and to keep him held up.
he didn't do too bad in that new Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
But he still had, like, family of sorts.
At the beginning, yeah, kind of.
Yeah,
So-
he's still got somebody. Like, he's never been able to stand alone. Not that that's bad, but it's something unique to him.
In 3D, he
is-
stands alone also, right? Well, I mean, he's in his family's basement or whatever.
Yeah, and requires a keeper. Like,
true.
When his keeper dies, he has to have a new keeper. So there's always somebody. There's not any instance, even in the movie, the next one that's just called Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, there is no time where he's standing alone, where he's by
True.
himself. And I don't even know if they could do it anyway. Like, he's just that unique slasher character that just always has some support system.
Yeah. I guess I never really thought of that. That's, yeah. Has to
You can't
have
do it.
a team, yeah.
Yeah, he can't do it alone. He's got to have his backup. He's no Superman. He needs help.
God damn it. Little Scrubs reference. He's no Superman.
I'll throw it all in there, but
He is.
that's our negative aspects on Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Look at some more negative aspects.
Yeah, let's go ahead and look at some more. Let's look at some of them 1-star reviews.
Hated it.
Maybe I'll look one of those up for amusement after I get done with these ones. I'll do a 5.
All right.
All right, so first up is Rita L. Stanfield on June 27, 2022. 1 star, the sequel that should have never been made. Student filmmakers seem to have made this. Dennis Hopper will drive you nuts with boredom. I don't know about that. Couldn't get past the first half hour. Out in the trash. Gone. Get. The beginning, 2003, 3D, and 2022. Letter available only on Prime streaming. You'll thank me. This one was a waste of money. It actually felt good to throw it away the next day.
Oh, nice.
Imagine this Rita throwing something in the trash like, oh,
Yes.
pick it up out of the trash and do it again. Ah,
Feels so much better now.
I feel like a weight's been lifted off my back. All right, from Rondell Del Ranch, September 30th, 2020. 1 star. This is literally the worst movie. I'm 25 and I'm not sure if this movie just I'm gonna retry that. I'm 25, so I'm not sure if this movie just isn't for me, but it was the worst. I'm not talking about the worst of the Texas Chainsaw movies. I just mean this is literally the worst movie ever.
Damn.
I would recommend watching it if you're a horror fan, just for gigs and 4 little stars, which I'm guessing shits, which it's normally goes the other way. It's shits and gigs, not gigs and shits.
Yeah, that's bad.
Although I kind of want to start saying it that way. That's for gigs and shits. Here's my breakdown in rating it. Directing, 1 out of 10. Writing, 0 out of 10. It was like a fanfic written by someone on Reddit, but in the 1980s. Cinematography, 0 out of 10. parentheses, horrible. Editing, NA?
Not available?
With a question mark. Acting, 5 out of 10. That bad. Production design, 0 out of 10. I'm just going to go watch the reruns of Game of Thrones. Couldn't even finish this movie.
Yeah, you're a Game of Thrones fan. You probably don't like anything else.
Nothing against Game of Thrones fans, but when I got all the way to that part of it, I'm like, that's when the pretentiousness really kicked into high gear for me.
Mm-hmm. You don't know about the House of Asgard or some bullshit? I'm like,
I think that's Thor.
I don't
think
fucking
Asgard
know.
is Thor.
I don't know.
I'm about 3 steps ahead of you, so it's not by much, but I'm pretty sure that's Thor.
It's all bullshit.
It's all dragons and swords and shit.
Lame.
I don't like much of that either. I love Willow. That's about it.
Yeah.
As far as that kind of mystical hoobity blah. All right. Momo of 2.
Momo.
Momo F2. Or you could say Mom of 2, but I like Momo F2.
Yes.
January 20th, 2015, 1 star. Awful. This was weird. And stupid in some parts. The gory scenes were out of place in this B-type movie. It went from okay to really, well, stupid. My 7-year-old wanted to order it, and the first one was so genuinely scary. This one was just painful to watch. The original character from Texas, from Chainsaw 1, is in this. I'm sure he cringed watching this awful movie too.
The original. Oh, yeah, okay.
I think she means Gunnar Hansen was
but
in the first one, and he's watching this one and cringing at it. Probably.
Oh, yeah.
I would have loved to ask, like, what do you think about the other portrayals of this horse shit, particularly part 2? Momo of 2 didn't care for it. I don't give a fuck.
I'm just going to burn down that cave. Rebuild it next spring.
I'm going to tear down that cave and rebuild it.
You want a beer?
You want a beer, sexy? All right. Antoine Woods, August 18th, 2021. 1 star. Trash movie. This is just horrible. Hank F., September 5th, 2021. 1 star. He has just the green, unhappy face. So like someone getting ready to puke. Cheryl, 1 star on February 8th, 2021. I do not recommend this. I disliked it, but loved the first one and hope I love the third.
I hope you love the third one, too.
You probably will. Replica on October 20th, 2019. 1 star. Truly horrible. An insult to the horror genre.
That's not very original. Replica.
I like this name. Lorenzo Perez. It sounds like someone's definitely going to steal your wife while he's fixing the plumbing.
Renegade. Lorenzo Lamas up in here.
Lorenzo Perez on November 6th, 2019. 1 star. I'm in a lot of pain.
Somebody help.
This movie hurts me.
Oh, I just thought that would have been just the best if he was just like, I'm in a lot of pain, send the paramedics. Like he thinks he's on 911.com or some shit.
Says Swan on October 19th, 2019. 1 star. Lame, dumb, lame, annoying movie.
Put that on the fucking cover. 1 star, dumb, lame, annoying.
Yeah. Eric Martinez on October 16th, 2017. 1 star. Sad. Spider XXX on July 24th, 2014. 1 star. Didn't like. I like serious horror movies. This movie was meant to be humorous. Wasn't scary at all. Disappointed.
Join the club, buddy.
Chris Black, November 22nd, 2016. 1 star. Crap. Pablo Garcia, September 2nd, 2015. 1 star. Comedy. And I like this one. This is my last 1 star. Terry C. Ashby on August 29th, 2015. 1 star. Dennis, how could you?
Just wait a few years. He does Mario Brothers.
Oh, Jesus. Let's see. Now to, because we want to give the fans of this their fair shake. we'll do the rare thing we do once in a great while of giving a few 5 stars. So here we go. Mike Vannerman. Mike Vannerman. May 26, 2023. 1 star. 5 stars. Amazing. I was going to buy this on eBay before Vinegar Syndrome did this release. Different from the first movie, but still fun in its own way.
All right.
Dale L. Clevin on April 26, 2023. 5 stars. Love it. It arrived quick and carefully packaged. My only complaint is I missed out on the sweet slipcover. See, Peter Voss, March 17th, 2023. 5 stars. This is the version you're looking for. Wonderful release. Finally 4K Ultra. Great transfer. Tons of finally released extras as well as the old extras. Highly recommend.
Getting that super duper Vinegar Syndrome version.
Oh, jeez. This one cannot be anything but great. Because this is entirely in caps.
Oh, boy.
So normally in caps we get stuff like that. Someone I feel just screaming how much they hate something. This is the exact opposite apparently. On July 16th, 2021 from Walt. 5 stars. Not many like this around anymore. First, please be advised this is about the most gory, raw, and horrific film I've ever seen. People being skinned alive, bodies constantly being disemboweled, and worse so far, mature teens be advised and adults also. Dennis Hopper plays a retired Texas Ranger looking for revenge and justice, working with a local, i.e. Dallas, Texas DJ. They go after the maniacal family responsible for this mayhem. Guess what the special ingredient was for the opening scene? This is big time horror with an amazing bold conclusion. Have your snacks early in this film. Enjoy.
I just thought, when you said Dennis Hopper, I just thought that was the end of the review. Dennis Hopper.
Well, this does not have any punctuation except for the end, and this is literally how these 3 lines will go. Mature teens be advised, and adults also. Next line, Dennis Hopper. Next line, plays a retired Texas Ranger.
Dennis Hopper.
Like, so good deserves its own line. Dennis Hopper. Like he says, thoughts are popping into his head.
When he made this movie, he got plenty of lines.
This could be Chop Top doing this 5-star rating right here. Mature ones, be advised. Dennis Hopper, retired Texas Ranger, responsible family, mayhem, conclusion, have snacks early, film enjoy, disemboweling.
Is that the Rambo 3 soundtrack? Roar! Gugh.
I don't know what movie he saw, but we saw some skinning, but I don't remember seeing... Like, I would be super pissed if I read this and took it as gospel. Bodies constantly being disemboweled. Can you imagine any film that has constant disemboweling going on? 90 minutes of disemboweling and Dennis Hopper.
Yes. I would buy that. Well, we gave the 5-star folks what they wanted. Dennis Hopper.
I'm going to give them one more because I feel this one explains everything, how we've been saying for about an hour now.
All right.
To a T, from Melody Nye on March 11, 2022. This is perfect. March 11, 2022. 5 stars. My son sat on the edge and watched. Kept my son's attention the whole time. And I feel that encapsulates everything we just said for about an hour now. It's great for the kids.
Yeah.
Disemboweling Dennis Hopper for the kids.
Yeah. Oh, that's glorious. Well, now that we're done with the 1 and 5-star reviews, Evil, what does that mean?
I'm ready to wrap this shenanigans up on TCM2, so we can't do that until we play the game.
It's time to play the game. Time to play the game!
It's all about the game and how you play it. No secret, it's the meat. Don't skimp on the meat. I've got a real good eye for prime meat. Runs in the family.
Oh my god. That was a fucking excellent Lemmy Drayton. But it is time to play the game. And if you're new here, welcome. But you're probably scratching your head asking yourself, What is the game? Well, the game is a deep cut in and of itself, where you gotta pick a prop from the movie that we are covering, but it can't be a well-known prop. So since we're covering Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, I'm gonna go ahead and say, you cannot have Leatherface's mask, you cannot have Leatherface's chainsaws, anything else is fair game as far as I'm concerned. Pick something weird, pick something different. Everything in this movie is weird and different. So let us know on the comments on the podcast. Let us know in our Discord. Let us know on YouTube. Let us know anywhere you can find us. Patreon, yada, yada. But yeah, do it. Make it weird. Make it fun. And we'll get this show on the road. Evil, do you want to go first?
Sure.
All right. What do you got?
I'm going to take the chili trophy.
Oh, nice. That's fucking excellent.
With the diarrhea chili just poured out all sloppily.
All on his fucking blazer. Just like...
Yeah, this is everywhere. Like, did you have to pour it into the trophy? Like, this ain't the Super Bowl, man, where people are drinking out the shit, or the Stanley Cup. Like, it's a little run-of-the-mill, like, trophy for chili, and it's just dripping out the side. Like... That shit's gross.
You know, it's just plastic spray painted with gold, so it's like, then it didn't dry all the way, so the chili...
Yeah, because this is Canon Films, by the way. They're not putting that much money into it.
Yeah.
This is a bowling trophy. They just pulled the top of it off and carved the state of Texas out of wood and spray painted it and glued it on top.
No shit. Yeah, because they had all the chainsaws. Might as well just carve the state of Texas out of a block of wood.
Yeah, and $100 probably that is just a straight up can of Hormel chili. They just rolled in some mud or something and threw it in this fucking bowl.
Hormel chili.
And that shit is stained even when he's riding with a shotgun in his truck on the way back to the cavern pit.
That's true. Wow, that's a really good prop. I will not dispute that. That's kind of encapsulates this entire movie, right? The whole rolling chef and chili, blah, 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 because we're really, really putting all our eggs in that basket of cannibal family, killing for food or whatever, killing to make food.
This is the only movie they lean into that. The other ones, it's like Elm Street, like it's the implied molestation, but we're gonna focus on the killing. This is the one movie they're like, yeah, it's the 2010 Elm Street. We're like, yeah, they're totally eating people. Yeah, those kids are getting molested. Yeah,
we do it a little bit in 3. You know what I mean? Like they're like, well, if we'll get enough sow belly or whatever, like they're gonna string up William Butler and get their meat, you know. But like, yeah, this one we're actually like cooking.
Again, that one's kind of going back a little bit to survivalist kind of.
Yeah, for sure.
Here they're like, we're just doing this because we're just cheap and don't want to probably buy cattle. Or like, cattle's expensive. These fucking sacks of meat are just walking around all willy nilly. We can just cook up these folks instead.
Yeah, just take people who are passing through.
It's human meat.
As far as my prop goes, again, there's a billion weird things in this movie. Kind of tough to pick, but I think you and I are both in agreement with the opener of this movie being pretty solid. So if I had to pick anything, I'm gonna pick the Yuppies weird lenticular glasses with the eyeballs.
I always wanted those. Those always look
super cool.
They're still cool. I wish I had perfect eyesight so I could wear shit like that. I would have so many different novelty sunglasses if I could wear them instead of having to be stuck with fucking corrective glasses. Fucking bullshit.
See if you can find some prescription novelty.
They're expensive as shit, man. It pisses me off. My daughter is living that best life, though. She's got a ton of like really unique pairs of sunglasses that she wears, and like do that because I'll never be able to experience that joy again in life of just going into a store and finding a really neat pair of sunglasses and just putting them on and wearing them.
What about contacts? Do you have like astigmatism?
I ain't sticking my fingers in my eyes. Fuck that shit.
Okay, I was just curious because then you could double whammy it because you could have colored contacts and cool novelty glasses.
If I had no qualms about sticking my fingers in my eyes, I would have invested in the bizarre looking contacts years ago. I came close to almost contemplating it when I used to see a pair that had it was just the X's over each eye contacts. I'm like, I want to get those. I think I'm gonna start doing it. And then I just tried touching my eye like a couple of times. Like, yeah, this ain't fucking working. I'm not doing it. Like, I'm gonna get frustrated trying to put this fucking thing on the edge of my eye, and I'm like, all right, how the fuck do I get it off?
Yeah, I don't know. That's something I don't know. I've always wanted to do the contact thing too.
I don't like eye shit.
Yeah, eye trauma is gnarly. So.
It's gnarly, and I don't like any of it.
Well, I suppose, Evil, we should probably get going, because after all, there's a lot of movies out there, and somebody's got to watch them. So why not us, right?
The small businessman always, always, always gets it in the ass.